Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another Heartless Swarm broadcast brought to you by DOOMeSports and SC2Links.com. Today we have some action in a TVZ matchup on Akilon Wastes featuring our first player in the lower right-hand corner of the map, spawning in the golden trunks. He's from the team Empire and Russia, none other than BratOK. And his opponent, spawning in the upper left-hand corner of the map. He's currently teamless, but he is a monster from Ukraine. It is none other than DIMAGA. Alright, and this is action from the ZOTAC EU Cup, round 6, determining who will move on to the grid stage. And if you're not familiar with the ZOTAC EU Cup, I encourage you to check it out. It is every Sunday morning at 8 AM Eastern Standard Time. And you can also check out its sister tournament, the ZOTAC NA Cup, at Saturdays on 6 PM. You can find it there. And typically I will cast one or the other, maybe both sometimes. And yeah, it's pretty much a staple broadcast in DOOMeSports portfolio. And if you enjoy this broadcast and enjoy previous broadcasts of mine, then I do encourage you to tune in live. It's an even more special treat. And we do get to see some pretty amazing games, considering the talent that's currently in the field during most of these ZOTAC Cups. I'm insanely impressed and shocked that we don't see more and more people tuning in on a daily basis. But regardless of that, we do see BratOK here going for a 12 barracks followed by a 13 refinery. This is usually indicative of early factory play. Sometimes you'll see the Terran player going for 12 barracks followed by 12 gas. Now that'll typically signal that Reapers are going to be coming on the field. And if you guys haven't checked out the Terran Heartless Swarm build orders featured from MLG Winter Championship, yes, MLG Winter Championship, you can basically just Google it. It's actually a Google document that's sitting out there publicly for you to access. And it's pretty much helped me dominate and get to Masters League in North American ladder. So if you're looking to improve your Terran game, I do encourage you to check out that build or that series of builds. And if you can't find it, well, just send me a message on Twitter and I'll certainly send it your way. But DIMAGA here on the other side of the map did go for his hatchery first and following up with a relatively quick spawning pool and going for his gas on 17. So that could signal something along the lines of, early speedling play. But I think if he was going to go for early speedling play, he probably would have taken that refinery much sooner, even before the pool itself. But BratOK is going to be moving in here with a scout, and we shall see what he sees in the, I guess he's going to appear as the green trunks as we move into the mode of his vision, and he's going to scout out that gas relatively quickly. See, the pool is completed, but DIMAGA here is only going to be making 2 lings right off the bat, considering he's got a couple more larvae available. He could be waiting to see if a Reaper is going to show up, but he's pretty much going to be content to go for his queens at both the main and the natural and continue to drone up as much as humanly possible. On the other side of the field here, BratOK has gone for that factory, dropping down a refinery or a reactor onto his barracks, and DIMAGA, no, it's gonna fall. That's gonna go down. All right, so DIMAGA almost immediately supply capped here in this game is gonna be going for an evolution chamber relatively quickly. So we'll see immediately what his intents are. He's going for that +1 melee attacks, so somewhat peculiar, not the most peculiar thing in the world, but still somewhat peculiar. He hasn't gone for that ling speed yet, so I'm curious to see if this is going to be in response to what he assumes is mechanical oriented play. He has scouted out the fact that the factory has gone on top of that reactor, and he can sometimes assume that Widowmines are going to be coming out, that Hellions are going to be coming out. But curious decision here to go for this melee attack. Will add to the damage, of course, of the Zerglings, but how good is damage of Zerglings when they're being roasted in the face by Hellions? And this guy's checking out his driver's license down here or something. I guess he's looking at the on-screen navigation, and BratOK's actually going to be dropping down an armory in addition to his second gas. His second command center is about to complete in the main base, and he's adding that starport on relatively quickly here. So, armory in TVZ and armory in pretty much TV anything has signaled Hellbat style play, and 4 Hellions are currently going to move across the field. If you haven't seen, the Hellions can no longer transfer into Hellbats, but regardless of that, 4 Hellions are moving into the main base of DIMAGA, and there are 12 lings in production, but only 2, none currently on the field. So many drones are going to go down. DIMAGA desperately trying to surround these Hellions with the drones, but 3 Hellions are enough to one-shot drones. I mean, 1 has fallen so far. A second one is going to go down here, and the Queens are continuing to try to focus, but oh my gosh, 9 workers have currently been killed on the field. I mean, the lings are going to get around a good surround on those Hellions and drop them, but man, DIMAGA that was definitely not what you wanted to see early on. 10 workers in total field. Looking at the income reflection here, the Terran player is greater than the Zerg on 1 base, opposed to the Zerg's 2 bases. And he's going to be forced to use larva for drones rather than some type of attacking pressure. And his speed and +1 just are finishing up at the same exact time. So very forward thinking from DIMAGA here. He intended to do this the entire time, but as he sees these Hellbats now, he's got to be thinking, well, I need to go something else. And that is exactly his plan, going for 4 roaches. And I mean, he's going to be posturing his lings around the map to try to establish some semblance of map vision and map control. But we hear the load up and the boost. And there goes the medevac flying across the map. This has the potential to do a lot of damage. I mean, there's no spine crawlers in either the natural or the main base. I mean, there is the one at the ramp, but of course, medevacs can subvert that terrain very, very easily here. DIMAGA is currently going up to his lair, adding on a 3rd gas, just populating the natural gas that has been taken. And BratOK over here is probably going to deny this 3rd base. Yep, absolutely going to deny that 3rd base. Back at home, he's adding on a 3rd command center, has populated his natural with a decent amount of SCVs, and basically just going to be content to deny that 3rd base. Hasn't really gone in and seen all that much. He did see the Roach Warren was being constructed when he moved in there with the initial 4 Hellions, but other than that, he's just content to ramp up his Hellbat production. A couple Lings are going to try to flood into the natural over here, but can they actually get anything done? 1 SCV is going to drop. That's going to be pretty much all she wrote. All she wrote. That is all she wrote. And BratOK has transitioned into starting to create a few Widow Mines here. And pretty much that's the name of the game here. Widow Mines, Hellbats. He's going to again appear to deny that 3rd base. And wow, BratOK. I mean, in keeping DIMAGA on 2 base, this is actually a really effective maneuver. And look at how many units are being spent in the main, pretty much idle, not doing anything on the field to be aggressive. You know, not pressuring at the front. There's no banelings that are in production. That +1 upgrade research really hasn't really been able to do much for DIMAGA so far. And he is moving into his +1 carapace in addition to his +1 missile tanks and Glide reconstruction. So it will be a roach-centric army here in a couple of minutes, but 4 Hellbats, 2 medevacs versus 2 roaches. I'm not really sure how much is going to do, but BratOK here is going to be moving into the natural base. He has no intentions of going to that 3rd anymore. That Hellbat is going to be healed. Will he keep it alive? Absolutely. Nothing going to be denying that. Simply picks up in the medevacs. I mean, 1 queen will be peppering away at these medevacs, but he's going to drop on top of the drones. And looking at their health, oh, none did really go down there, but a couple more attacking units are going to fall here. BratOK is forced to retreat from that situation, and only a few workers were killed. I do believe 12 total was the last number that I can basically calculate in my head, considering he denied that 3rd base twice. But okay, Hellbats are going to move back in at this 3rd base. Once again, it's been BratOK's perpetual target in this game. He's going for +2 vehicle weapons upgrades, already has +1 on them, so these Hellbats are even more scary than they are in combination with this medevac here. A couple of roaches are going to try to posture up, but even they looked a little scared of that situation. And once again, BratOK's just going to be threatening, posturing in the main base with these drops, keeping DIMAGA on his toes, forcing out 11 roaches at this current moment in time. Looking at the drone to SCV count, 51 SCVs, 49 drones. BratOK is dropping his 3rd at the desired location. A Ling will spot it out, but what can DIMAGA actually do? Okay, he is going to be going for his ground carrier base level 2. Definitely going to help out against any type of mechanical style play. But you know, roaches were the answer in Wings of Liberty to mass, you know, Hellions, to mass tanks, to mass Thors. It could be effective at some stages if you're able to get that very large count of roaches out around the 13 to 15 minute mark. But now as we're approaching 12 minutes and 30 seconds into the game, DIMAGA does not have any drones at his 3rd base. Looking at his income, BratOK is significantly ahead in this regard. He's taking his 5th and 6th gases at that 3rd base, got a siege tank here to protect it against anything that comes in. And once again, the Hellbats are going to be pressuring at this 3rd base. DIMAGA basically saying, screw it, I can't do anything to deflect it. He's just going to try to move in at the natural area. But I mean, look at what's waiting for him here. That is 5 siege tanks, 6 in total on the map. And the Hellbat count just continues to grow as BratOK has added on more and more factories. The Overseer is going to try to posture in. Widow Mine shot is going to go off there. I mean, DIMAGA's moving in at the natural, but everything falls. Oh my gosh. Absolute devastation there as BratOK is picking his 4th base. This current moment in time, looking back at the 3rd base, still no drones populated there for DIMAGA. This is basically snowballing out of control for our Zerg player. He's going to have Zerg missile attacks level 2 in just a second, but continuing to rally in roaches to their flying acrobatic deaths. Okay, so, I mean, DIMAGA's going to add on an infestation pit. You got to think, what can he actually do here to come back in this game? BratOK is on 4th bases. DIMAGA recognizes that BratOK's on those 4 bases. Well, he's only on 3rd bases now, as this 4th is going to be lifted. Do you even lift BratOK? I think he does, and I think he does even more than that. This is insanely ferocious, fearsome, deadly, thinking of every adjective I possibly can to describe this devastating army. I mean, DIMAGA saying interesting, probably thinking, oh my gosh, this guy is playing like a Zerg right now, taking base after base, and I simply can't do anything about it because he's just defending too well. I mean, even look at this, BratOK's adding on he's got another command center at the Naturals, adding on 3 additional ones from there. Hellbats are moving in force against these roaches, which currently are +2 carapace, and almost about to have +2 missiles. Okay, there it does complete. DIMAGA is moving up to Hive in this situation. It feels like he almost needs Broodlords to counter this. I mean, these don't hit up. Siege tanks, Hellbats don't hit up. But regardless, DIMAGA is going to be going for Enduring Locusts. Okay, I kind of feel like Mutalisk in this situation would be absolutely amazing. There are only 2 Thors now just in production. And, I mean, this Viking's pretty much going to rule the day. The Skies is going to take out all of DIMAGA's vision in the middle map. Regardless of that, he is trying to move some roaches down into this area. But BratOK's got a siege tank ready. I mean, even more roaches are going to be falling and actually crumbling down the ramp there. These roaches will be deflected, and look how much damage this +2 attack vehicle attack upgrades is doing. Oh my gosh, the overall supply is 178 for BratOK, 145 DIMAGA. He's desperately going to be adding on a Hydralisk Den, and 14 Swarm Hosts are actually just in production. 7 currently on the field, 7 more on the way. I mean, BratOK's fully aware of the fact that DIMAGA has not taken this base to the southwest portion of the map. Although DIMAGA has taken this 4th base, now breaking this down to BratOK is once again aware that that's DIMAGA's intentions, and seeing that the army is trying to knock down these rocks puts BratOK into a perfect position to siege this 3rd base area. The tanks are going to be on the high ground. DIMAGA is going to be sending Swarm Hosts out to try to scout and see what's going on, but I mean, he doesn't have the Swarm Hosts in a decent area to be attacking these units, and considering that there's a high ground, low ground advantage, what can DIMAGA do? The 3rd base is under assault. The Viking is continuing to assault Overlords. 1 Queen will eventually take that out. But these Locusts are just going to drop immediately. Hellbats moving in against the Roaches. Absolutely nothing that BratOK can do to deflect this. And there's another smiley face from DIMAGA. Says GG, and there's the good luck. And BratOK moves forward into the grid stage of the ZOTAC EU Cup as he continues to shell late at the 3rd base. But that's going to be basically mech domination here on Akilon Wastes. And if you're a Terran player looking to destroy Zergs in this fashion, well, you should, number 1, go for Hellions early on and try to do as much damage as possible to that main mirror line. But number 2, pray that your opponent does not go Mutalisk. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been DOOMeSports and SCToons.com, bringing you another Heart of Swarm show match. Not even a show match, it's just another broadcast, and I hope you did enjoy this. If you did, go ahead, follow me on Twitter at DOOMeSports, and let me know how you liked it. All right, take care. Peace.